welcome to Sports Time with Chris. I am your host, Chris, and today I will be previewing the 49ers' upcoming matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And to start off the show, we're going to begin by talking about a player who everyone is going to be talking about across the entire NFL because he's making his much anticipated season debut, Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, we all know CMC has been dealing with his bilateral Achilles tendonitis, and according to a Richard Sherman podcast, he would have been ready to go against the Cowboys a couple weeks ago, but they held him out just to be overly cautious, and I am glad that they did that. I definitely don't think they needed him against the Cowboys, and I mean, obviously they didn't. They were down to their third running back in that game, and they still were able to stomp on them for 3.5 quarters. So, well, it was really one quarter. The third quarter is really when they stomped the Cowboys, but we already talked about that game. So Christian McCaffrey, this is definitely it's interesting, right? This injury that he has, it sounds so scary, right? Like bilateral Achilles tendonitis. I don't know why I can't say that word. Essentially, he's had 2 little micro tears in each of his Achilles. That is really concerning, and obviously the major concern for him, for the team, for everyone is that one of those Achilles, or I mean, hopefully not both, go out. That would be horrible. I mean, that would really, really suck. Achilles injuries are obviously a big deal. Drake Greenlaw still hasn't returned from his. But going into this game and really, unless it's a must-win game, like, playoffs are on the line, divisional games, I really don't want to see this team overuse or use Christian McCaffrey too much. I think going into Tampa Bay, 10 to 12 touches is, I could live with 10 to 12 touches. I don't want to see Christian McCaffrey used like a workhorse. I know McCaffrey is very, he wants to play every single play. He wants to go out there and break records and be amazing and add to his legacy and help this team win. And ultimately that ended up hurting him. It's last year he would wave off running backs. He would not let himself be pulled out of the game. And he was ultimately overused. And Shanahan let that happen. And I think Shanahan needs to say, hey, look, Christian, we want you. You are a very important player to this team. You were the offensive player of the year. You're the oil. Maybe not the oil. What engine part is Christian McCaffrey to this offense? He's like Nos. He's like Nos. You don't need him to be competitive. You don't need him to win games. But what you do need him for is to get you to the next level, to get you that extra little boost. So Christian McCaffrey is the offense's Nos. And obviously, what happens when you run out of Nos? That all the other cars that have Nos are going to keep going. They're going to pass you. They're going to win the race. And so you got to use your Nos sparingly. And that's what I'm saying about Christian McCaffrey. Use him sparingly. Use him in red zone situations, yes. Third down situations, yes. And I don't mean like if you're in 3rd and 20, no, don't put McCaffrey out there. He's not going to get it. He might, but I think it's too much of a risk in that situation. 3rd and 2, yeah, absolutely. Put McCaffrey out there. Put him and Jordan Mason out there. Hopefully Jordan Mason is good to go. We're going to talk about him in a little bit here. But yeah, I think that is enough about McCaffrey. I just don't want to see him overused, and ultimately the worst case scenario happens. He's apparently feeling really good. Who knows if he did receive some sort of treatment in Germany that somehow healed him, or what, or maybe he received good news in Germany, like, hey, yes, you have bilateral Achilles tendonitis, but it's not to the severity that it could be. Who knows? We don't know what happened in Germany, and we might not find out for years. So this is what Shanahan does to running backs, is he wears them out. Jordan Mason, I think, has been in a blue non-contact shirt this whole week during practice because of his shoulder injury. Now, this one I don't think was because of wear and tear. Like McCaffrey, Shanahan did use Jordan Mason a lot, but he landed really awkwardly on that shoulder against Seattle. So, I don't think I don't know. Shanahan was using him a ton, but because of that, we have seen that Garendo has steadily improved throughout the season. Hopefully he can continue to improve. I mean, this Buccaneers defense isn't, actually don't know what their rushing defense looks like. Rush yards per game, 130, which is number 19th in the NFL. So, they're not great against the run. They're giving up 4.9 yards per rush, which is 20th in the NFL. So look, you've got to go running back by committee. And I've been saying this since last year. You've got Jordan Mason, you've got CMC. Man, I hate to go back in time, but if Shanahan would have used Jordan Mason a little bit more last year, I think we would have seen a different outcome in that Super Bowl. I don't think McCaffrey was 100% during the playoff run, and especially during the Super Bowl, he was not 100%. Anyway, let's talk about Tampa Bay. You've got to go running back by committee in this game. You've got two banged up running backs. One of them really banged up, the other one pretty badly banged up. And I think you do want to run the ball against this Buccaneers squad, especially because they're coming off a short week where the defense went into overtime against Patrick Mahomes. They were out there for a long time. They could not stop the run. And that's what you got to do. You got to go out there and just keep wearing them out. It's going to be a hot day in Tampa Bay. Go out there and run the ball. Go running back by committee. And ultimately, if that doesn't work, then I think this is a game where Brock can continue to go on his upward trajectory for the season. I know it's been kind of an up and down season for him, and this is a game where he can start to get back on track and be the MVP Brock that we've seen in years past. And so what I'm really expecting from Brock Purdy in this game is to just go out there and play ball. Go out there and be Brock Purdy. You've got Debo, you've got Kittle. Again, Kittle, I said this last in my midseason analysis, Kittle's got to be the focal point of this offense going forward. And I mean that just in general. Like if you can run your offense through Kittle, that'll open up the running game, the passing game, it'll do everything. So Kittle, I think, is the key in this game. I mean, he's going to be the key in every game, in my opinion. Him and Brock, their connection. I can see another big game from Kittle. I also want to see Debo step up in this game. He's also had an up and down season. He hasn't been the Debo that I think he can be. He's also been banged up this year. Juwan Jennings is supposed to be back. So things are going to be good for Brock on offense. And so I want to see him just go in there and be the Brock Purdy that we've seen the last couple of seasons, the MVP Brock. And don't try to take too much from the defense. Make smart plays. Instead of running around, if something's not open, look, throw it away or scramble. And Brock is a very sneaky scrambler. It's definitely one of his most underrated attributes. Obviously, he's not on Lamar Jackson's level or anything like that, but he's a really, really capable runner, scrambler, and I just want to see him do whatever it takes to move the ball on offense. Defensively, this is a very interesting matchup because although, the Buccaneers have the number 5 ranked scoring offense in the NFL. They're number 5 in yards per game, number 6 in yards per play, number 2 in third down conversions, number 3 in red zone scoring, number 3 in touchdowns per game. So they have a very, very capable offense. And so even though this team is down Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, this 49ers team gives up plays to running backs a lot of the time. And they have 2 really solid running backs in Bucky Irving and Rashad White. Those guys, I think, can present some problems for the Niners. Now, Cade Otton, I think, has been the primary target for Baker since he lost his 2 receivers. Tight ends haven't really killed the Niners this year. Where the Niners have struggled is in passing and deep passing situations and then third down. And Baker likes to sling the ball a little bit, so I expect him to take some shots in this game, especially against, I don't expect Charvarius Ward to play. And so Renardo Green and Diamador Lenore are going to have to hold it down. And it's going to be that third cornerback who I think is going to be targeted a little bit, and maybe even Jair Brown. But yeah, this Bucs team likes to take their shots, take their chances. They're aggressive and they put up points. It's a very interesting matchup for this defense. And I think this is going to be a really, really good test for them to see, how good is this defense? Because because they haven't played great offensive teams, or they've played a lot of teams that are banged up. Obviously, against Dallas, they gave up 2 last-minute touchdowns that were completely wide open. They blew some coverages. So what I really want to see is this defensive line getting some pressure on Baker and not making it easy for him, because if you make it easy for him, Baker can dice you up. He's a really solid quarterback. And then, of course, the Buccaneers, it seems like they don't run that much. Let's see they're number 23 in rushes per game, and they're number 10 in rush yards per game. So it's not like they're running a lot, but they are effective when they do run the ball. And they have 2 very solid backs, like I said, and Niners have struggled against those kinds of guys in the passing game in the past. And of course, they struggle on third down, which the Buccaneers they're number 2 at converting on third down situations. So that's not boding well for the Niners either. Now, I think this game potentially has the makings of a shootout, but with Tampa Bay coming off a short week, going into overtime, the offense may or may not be up to snuff, especially considering the Niners are coming off a bye as well. They're going to be well rested. Hopefully they don't start off too rusty, too shaky, and this offense for the Buccaneers can potentially put up a lot of points, but I don't think they will. I think it's going to be a little too much juice coming from the Niners side, and that's why they're not going to put up as many points as they probably could normally. And also, Nick Bosa is probably pretty happy with the results of the election, and I'm hitting the over on his sacks for whatever this week is. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 1.5 or more. So anyway, enough of that. Now, something I mentioned in my mid-season analysis video, which you should go check out anyway, because it's long. I put a lot of work into that one, and so you should definitely check it out, right after you check out this preview, if you're trying to kill some time before the game. And anyway, this is my thought on Kyle Shanahan. Now, I said this, like I said, I mentioned this in that video. He likes to build on things that he does throughout the year, and he does this during games as well. He'll show you one thing, he'll run several different plays out of it, or he'll run one play out of different formations, blah, blah, blah. So the next time you see it, you are anticipating that play is coming, and then he hits you with something totally different, some sort of misdirection, some version of that play that has been altered and adjusted, in order to grow the offense. And with Shanahan coming off of a bye week, he is really, really solid against the bye week. I think, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I want to say he's 16-2 off a bye week. No, 16-2 following a bye week the last couple of seasons or something like that. That doesn't sound right. He's really good at following a bye week though. So I think he's going to have some things cooked up. I do have to give Shanahan some credit for sometimes his situational play calling is not the greatest, but when he's able to build a game plan and have it work correctly, then this offense is really, really solid. So I think he's going to have some stuff ready to go for this game, and we're going to see the second evolution of this offense for the 24 season. Now, what I wanted to see, and we've seen it a little bit this year already, and I know some fans are going to disagree with me, but I've wanted to see this offense go to a little bit more of a spread out look, 3 receiver sets. I've been harping on this all season, and we've seen a little bit of it. There was actually, I think in the Dallas game, there was a play where they came out in 0-1 personnel. So no running backs, 1 tight end, 4 receivers. That's pretty rare for a Kyle Shanahan offense. I think we've been seeing signs of this team potentially going into an evolution and moving towards that kind of offense, more of a spread out look. That's why I think they drafted Pearsall and Cowing. Of course, Ayuk went down. They also didn't know if they were going to trade Ayuk. Anyway, he's gone. He's gone anyway because of injury, sure. But I think they were already kind of planning to not have Ayuk. And so they have Debo, they have Jawan, they have Pearsall, who I think is going to be really solid. And I actually hope they use Cowing a little bit more going forward and a little bit less of Conley. And even Ronnie Bell. See, Ronnie Bell is a route technician. He, coming out of the draft, I was actually really excited for Ronnie Bell because his dad, I think, was a wide receivers coach or something like that. And he was solid at Michigan. He was just really crisp with the way he ran routes. And we saw that a little bit last year. There was that play against the Giants where he had a touchdown, where he ran a beautiful route, got his feet in bounds for a nice touchdown catch. And the issue with Ronnie Bell that he's been struggling with is his catching the ball. He's done everything so well, minus the most important part. And I did kind of overreact when he dropped that ball against the Rams. I really struggle with professional football players, specifically wide receivers, who drop passes, especially if it's consistent. It's like, man, you're getting paid millions of dollars to catch a ball that I could go out there and catch. Now, I can't do everything else you can do. I can't run the routes like you can get open, but I'm pretty sure I could catch some of these footballs. So that's what I struggle with these football players who get paid lots of money and aren't able to catch footballs. So if he can get that down, I think he can still be a solid option in this wide receiver room. Of course, Kittle. And then one guy that has been forgotten about in this offense, he showed some signs early on of being solid, and we haven't heard much from him since, is Eric Saubert. He's the number 2 tight end, and I can't remember if he was the one that missed a block against the Chiefs on Karlaftis or not. I think it was him. Anyway, Shanahan loves blocking really good defensive ends with his backup tight end. But I think Eric Saubert is still a very solid option in this passing game, and we can see him used a little bit more as well. And the actual guy that most 49ers fans are excited to see come back is not Christian McCaffrey, it's Jake Moody, the kicker. And I say that half jokingly, but after seeing the last 2 kickers, they were solid at hitting field goals. I think Anders Carlson hit all his field goals, except I think he missed an extra point. The other kicker, I don't remember what he did besides getting hurt, but neither one of them really kicked touchbacks. Jake Moody does that consistently, and this special teams unit has been so up and down this season that, getting Jake Moody back and getting that leg back where he can consistently kick touchbacks is going to be really big, because then you just eliminate the return. And I think that's what the Niners need to do this season. Just eliminate kickoff returns. Kick the ball out of the end zone and save yourself the headache, and don't get another kicker injured. And so special teams, that's all. I'm just excited for Jake Moody to come back and kick touchbacks and hopefully be solid on field goals as well. Hopefully his injury won't impact that too much, and he is still the same old Jake Moody, because he was really solid. Should he have been drafted in the 3rd round? No, but he's still a solid kicker. Anyway, let's get into my prediction for this game. The 49ers play the Buccaneers on Sunday, and this is how I see that game going. Buccaneers have a few things working against them. They are coming off a short week playing the Chiefs in an overtime game, and I think that bodes poorly for their defense, who have struggled this season already. And then going into a game where the Niners are coming off a bye week, they're going to be well rested, ready to go. I think that is ultimately going to be why the Niners win this game. It's going to be, I guess we'll see how the Buccaneers offense fares. They're like 3rd ranked offense in scoring. And of course, they're going to be down Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So that can definitely play a factor this week. And of course, the much anticipated return of Christian McCaffrey, which I actually hope isn't too impactful on the game at all. I don't want to see Christian get 20 touches in this game. I want to see, 10 to 12. But I do see the Niners using him in the red zone and in must-get situations. And ultimately, they're going to win this game 31-20. Let me know what you think of that score prediction, and tell me what your score predictions are down below. I'm excited to see what you guys think as well. And we're going to wrap up this episode here. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode today, but I didn't have the time this week to record, as it seems like is the case every week, but life's busy, man, and I'm grateful to be busy. Anyway, thank you for taking the time to listen to my podcast today. I appreciate every single one of you who do. Please, if you haven't, take the time to like this video, subscribe, comment down below. I am still trying to grow this channel as much as I can, and yeah, I enjoy talking about the Niners and football in general. And those of you who, it's nice to know that there are people out there who listen to me talk about that for a while. And eventually I do want to get to the point where I can be more interactive with people. I can do live shows and have a face cam and things like that. But that is not currently in the works. Well, eventually it will be in the works, but right now it's just not. So thank you again for listening. This has been Sports Time with Chris.